All right, I'm ready.
Recording?
Yep, recording.
It's the Mindful Minute with Mike. I see Mike up in this crib doing the Mindful Minute. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Mindful Minute, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We're done.
Wow.
All right.
Wow. Killed it.
Mindful Minute. All right, I'll say.
We're good. Is the show tonight or is this Sunday night? Well, with the Mindful Minute, we're going to talk about working with pain in distraction.
Pain.
Wow.
Kill the mic. Kill the mic.
All you, brother.
All right, man. So pretty much there's two types. When we experience pain, what do? We either do mindful monitoring or we do like a distraction method, right? A distraction method, and we do this in some of my classes that we do. Where I have people like maybe hold on to ice and it gets uncomfortable for a while, and then I go around and ask them how did you deal with that, and they say, a lot of people say, well, I thought of something else, like something pleasant, and that's the distraction method. And I'm sure a lot of us use that. I'm sure a lot of listeners use that, and what that does, and that's great, but know when you're using it. And I don't mind that you use it, but just know when you're using that and know when you're using mindful monitoring. Because when you use a distraction method, the funny thing about that is that you always have to keep coming back to the pain to see if it's still there. Right, and so it's actually does a lot. It's a lot worse, and the pain lasts a lot longer, as opposed to just monitoring the pain. What's the phrase in the military or in first responders? Embrace the suck, right? Mm-hmm. Once you embrace the suck and you just this hurts right now. I'm just going to deal with it, and it's research has proven that it will subside a lot faster, and that's why it's always it's important to use that method. You can use whichever one you want, but just know which one you're using. And that's what mindfulness is, right? It's doing something, by intention. Know which one you're using. Now, if it's a quick something that you just hurt yourself real quick, sure. Think of something else, the pain's going to subside, no big deal. But if it's something, and it's not always physical, it could be emotional, right? It could be emotional trauma. If we're just using distraction method in that manner, which a lot of first responders do, I'm just going to keep working. I'm going to work extra hours. I'm going to take another detail. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. What are we doing? We're avoiding the problems maybe at home or wherever it may be. And that's actually going to cause a lot more damage, as opposed to let's just embrace the suck and let's just deal with it. Let's process it right now, and it'll subside a lot faster. Because no matter what, that pain is going to come back. It's going to come back at an inopportune time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what mindfulness does, it kind of creates a space, right? When you're in pain, your nervous system, it goes into overdrive. Mindfulness gives you kind of like a pause button, right? Even if it's just a breath. It builds your emotional resilience, right? Mindfulness trains you to kind of witness your emotions without being drowned by them. It's like learning to stand in the fire without getting burned, right? It reconnects you to your body, right? You get the pain, which brings on this emotional outburst that can be overwhelming. Well, mindfulness allows you to kind of reconnect to your body and have your executive functions kind of take back over, which is what we want, especially in like a tactical situation. Right? It interrupts that kind of spiral down. In tough moments, your mind might race, right? This is never going to end. I can't take this. This is awful. This is the worst day of my life. It's just never going to get better, right? That's a spiral downwards. Well, mindfulness might not stop those thoughts. It might, but it might not stop those thoughts, but it might slow them down at least. And at least gives you a chance to breathe and a chance to gather your facts, right? Which will stop the spiral. A lot of veterans or first responders, we're trained to kind of push through, compartmentalize, right? Just keep going, right? Suck it up, keep going. This works in crisis mode, pretty fine, but it's not something that's sustainable forever, right? It can turn into emotional shutdown over time, which that's when the perfect storm happens, right? And that's what we want to avoid. So mindfulness lets you kind of acknowledge the pain without getting stuck in it. It's not weakness by any means. It's training your attention, like like you train any skill. And when you are in any kind of pain, whether it be physical pain, emotional pain, anything, mental pain, anything that you're experiencing, the best thing that you could probably do is to name it, right? Name what the pain that's happening. This is grief, right? This is fear. This is anger. This is sadness. Let's name it. Let's label it. Once we label that emotion, it takes a lot of the power away from it, right? Notice how it feels in your body, right? This is anger. I am pretty angry right now. My heart's racing. My muscles are tense, right? Once I label this stuff, it takes the power away. and then take that breath, right? Take that inhale with that long exhale, right? To let that parasympathetic nervous system take over, which will take over from that, the emotional part of your brain, the limbic system. So just breathe with it like you would, just be with that emotion. Feel it in your body. Be with it like you would be with with a brother or sister that that you serve with. Just hearing them out, right? And that's what's going to go a long way into kind of overcoming those issues. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
What do you think you two use when you experience any kind of pain at all? Distraction method? Or you think you do the mindful monitoring?
I
I think a little both.
I used to do
Depends.
more of the distraction for sure.
Mm.
I definitely do the mindful monitoring.
Usually when I have these classes and I go around the class, people they don't, and I don't blame them. That's why they're attending class, right? But they don't catch on that they're even doing this,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, I didn't realize I was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you say, yeah, but you have to keep like,
Mm-hmm.
I maybe I hurt myself, right? I'm just gonna think about the concert. I'm gonna think about what I have to do next week. What did I do last week? And I gotta think about. Is it still hurting? Yep, it's still hurting. Okay, let me keep thinking about something else. Is it still hurting? Yep, I'm still hurting.
Mm-hmm.
Until I took your class, I didn't realize that I actually did it. Like I remember slamming my thumb once really hard with a hammer, and I remember throwing the hammer and not even screaming because there was nothing I could do to justify the pain I was going through.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally, I was doing breathing, and I was thinking of something completely different,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of subsided rather quickly. Which, like, I lost my fingernail like a week later.
Mm.
Like it was nasty, but
Mm-hmm.
it was just that, where normally you would take the hammer, flip it around, and start smashing things, to distract yourself, right? Opposed to the mind.
Because you get overwhelmed. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, by the
oh,
sensation.
that goddamn hurt. Oh my god, like, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But instead, it's like, you know what?
F-bomb, F-bomb, F-bomb.
Hey, first of all, it still hurt,
Mm-hmm.
but now you're controlling it,
Mm-hmm.
and that pain will subside a lot faster.
Mhm.
And so once people get that, and like you said, mindfulness is all about the inner awareness, the introspective awareness, and resilience, and what's happening right here, right now, and not getting overwhelmed, controlling your emotions, which is healthy for everybody, no matter what your profession is, at home or at work. And so that's working with pain and difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Did you know swearing actually decreases the pain also? That's like a legit thing. That's why like when you sent the video of you falling, you
Well,
yelled something.
Can you say what swears you recommend us to say on the radio right now?
F-bombs are usually my go-to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, now I'm going to stop recording, and that's
Oh.
the mindful minute. Okay.
So